Pickford, Winks and Barkley deliver on a night to remember for England. It was as far back as 1998, at the World Cup in France, that the Football Association recognized the benefit of having a goalkeeper who was good with his feet. A report written by Howard Wilkinson, then the FA's technical director, focused on the importance of Fabien Barthez and Edwin van der Sar to their respective sides. Their distribution, concluded Wilkinson, was crucial to the way the French and the Dutch attacked the tournament. Limited by options in the wake of David Seaman's retirement, the search for someone of the caliber Wilkinson had identified has been a long and sometimes torturous journey for England. Even for Gareth Southgate it took a while, only settling on Jordan Pickford just before the World Cup and doing so, despite his international inexperience, because of his composure and skill on the ball. It was a brave choice, but one that was true to this England manager's instincts and beliefs, and a reaction to his desire to see England produce a more sophisticated and ultimately more effective kind of football. Just like Pep Guardiola, Southgate did not want Joe Hart. He wanted this kid from Sunderland who could play as well as throw any given body part. On Monday night it just happened to be his head during an early spell of pressure for Spain in front of an incoming missile. Here in a wonderful old stadium we saw why, even if he did live rather dangerously after the break, not least when he was probably very fortunate not to concede a penalty after attempting to perform a cry of turn. Prior to that, though, we saw two of England's goals come as a result of the cultured feat of an Everton goalkeeper who in many ways is the embodiment of Southgate's England revolution. After sticking six past Croatia last month, all Spain appeared to be missing coming into this game here in Seville was a roof. But in a city where it so rarely rains, perhaps the deluge that arrived in the hours before kickoff was a sign of what was to follow. This, after all, was a night when droughts ended and records tumbled. A night, as Terry Butcher declared, when you will remember where you were. Incisive and deadly was how he described England, but they were also a product of the changes, beyond Pickford, that Southgate has introduced. He was quick to promote defenders who can play, but with a return to a back four, in response to the problems England were continuing to encounter against the better teams in midfield. But if Southgate was concerned about the manner in which England were being overrun in the middle of the park, not least against Croatia and Belgium in Russia, he has not simply turned to more defensive midfielders tasked with the job of stopping players like Luka Modric and Ivan Rakitic. Again, he has tried to balance that by selecting players with proper ability, and recalled Ross Barkley and Harry Winks for this Nations League doubleheader because of what he saw as a fairly urgent need for more flair and creativity in midfield. Barkley certainly delivered after a decent second-half performance in Rijeka, the ball he played into Harry Kane for England's third goal as good as any pass we saw in this contest last night. But Winks too did well even if Spain enjoyed the vast majority of the possession. At one stage midway through the game it was said to be in excess of 70%. Mauricio Pochettino has likened the young Tottenham midfielder to players of the stature of Xavi and Iniesta, and while even a 22-year-old with Spanish great-grandparents considers that rather premature, we once again saw signs that he has real potential. He is certainly worth sticking with, as is Barkley, providing Southgate with proper options when players like Dele Alli and Jesse Lingard are once again available. A first win in Spain in more than 30 years was also a vindication, of course, for the loyalty Southgate has shown Raheem Sterling and, more recently, Marcus Rashford. He remains certain they would prove themselves effective in forming a front three with Harry Kane, and so it proved, with much of the focus in training these past few days on how best to dovetail with the England captain. We have some outstanding attacking talents, and we need to get good service into them, be brave enough to come here and play, Southgate declared to Sky before the match. And brave this young England side most certainly were, just as they were also robust and resilient when, willed on by a crowd that reminded us after Croatia the difference a fantastic atmosphere can make. Spain dominated a distinctly one-sided second half. It meant England's manager could reflect on what, for all Spain's possession, was a marvelous performance, his first defeat of a top 10 side in 12 attempts, and probably England's best away performance since that 5-1 demolition of Germany in Munich 17 years ago. There is always room for improvement, of course, and Southgate knows only too well that a gulf still exists between his side and the very best. He saw that in Russia in the summer. But courage is often rewarded, and this remarkable result is a consequence of turning to a rookie goalkeeper like Pickford and turning again and again to players emerging from England's junior ranks.